Welcome to another year at Hogwarts. Now, I'd like to say a few words before we all become too befuddled by our excellent feast. First, I'm pleased to welcome Professor R.J. Lupin, who's kindly consented to fill the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Good luck, Professor. Our Care of Magical Creatures teacher for many years has decided to retire in order to spend more time with his remaining limb. Fortunately, I'm delighted to announce that his place will be taken by none other than our own Rubeus Hagrid. Finally, on a more describing note, as a request from the Ministry of Magic, Hogwarts will until further notice play host to the Dementors of Azkaban, until such a time Sirius Black is captured. The Dementors will be stationed at every entrance to the grounds. Now, whilst I've been assured that their presence will not disrupt our day-to-day activities, a word of caution, Dementors are vicious creatures. They will not distinguish between the ones they hunt and the one who gets in their way. Therefore, I must warn each and every one of you to give them no reason to harm you. It is not in the nature of a Dementor to be forgiving. But you know, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. Mr. Filch, round up the ghosts. Tell them to search every painting in the castle to find the fat lady. Dear lady, who's done this to you? Secure the castle, Mr. Filch. The rest of you, to the Great Hall. Arrestro momentum! Mysterious thing, time. Powerful, and when meddled with, dangerous. Sirius Black is in the topmost cell of the Dark Tower. You know the laws, Miss Granger. You must not be seen, and you would do well, I feel, to return before this last chime. If not, the consequences are too ghastly to discuss. If you succeed tonight, maybe one more innocent life could be spared. 3 turns should do it, I think. Oh, by the way, when in doubt, I find retracing my steps to be a wise place to begin. Good luck. Well? Did what? Good night. Your attention, please. I'd like to say a few words. Eternal glory. That's what awaits the student who wins the Triwizard Tournament. But to do this, that student must survive 3 tasks. 3 extremely dangerous tasks. For this reason, the Ministry has seen fit to impose a new rule. To explain all this, we have the head of Department of the International Magical Corporation, Mr. Bartimus Crouch. Silence! Sit down, please. At the moment you've all been waiting for, the champion selection. The Durmstrang champion is Victor Crumb. The champion for Beauxbatons is Fleur Delacour. The Hogwarts champion, Cedric Diggory. Excellent! We now have our 3 champions. But in the end, only one will go down in history. Only one will hoist this chalice of champions. This vessel of victory, the Triwizard Cup. Harry Potter. Harry Potter? Harry Potter! Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Did you ask one of the older students to do it for you? You're absolutely sure? This doesn't help, Alistair. Leave this to you, Barty. What do you suggest, Minerva? You heard Barty, the rules are clear. I agree with Severus. Alistair, keep an eye on Harry, will you? Don't let him know, though. He must be anxious enough as it is, knowing what lies ahead. And again, we all are. Good day, champions. Gather round, please. Now, you waited, you wondered, and at last the moment has arrived, the moment only 4 of you can fully appreciate. What are you doing here, Miss Granger? Barty, the bag. As the council is aware, I've been given evidence on this matter. Severus Snape was indeed a Death Eater, and prior to Lord Voldemort's downfall transpired for us a personal risk. Today he's no more a Death Eater than I am. It's all right, Harry. It's all right. He's home. You both are. Do you know who I am? Are you Alistair Moody? Are you? Is he in this room? Is he in this room? Harry, away from there! Are you all right, Alistair? Now we know who's been stealing from your store, Severus. We'll get you up in a minute! Barty Crouch Jr. Today, we acknowledge a really terrible loss. Cedric Diggory was, as you all know, exceptionally hard-working, infinitely fair-minded, and most importantly, a fierce friend. Now, I think therefore you have the right to know exactly how he died. You see, Cedric Diggory was murdered by Lord Voldemort. The Ministry of Magic does not wish me to tell you this, but not to do so I think would be an insult to his memory. Now the pain that we all feel of this dreadful loss reminds us of why we may come from different places and speak in different tongues. Our hearts beat as one. In light of recent events, the bonds of friendship we made this year will be more important than ever. Remember that. And Cedric Diggory will not have died in vain. You remember that. And we'll celebrate a boy who was kind and honest and brave and true right to the very end. I never liked these curtains. Set them on fire in my 4th year. By accident, of course. I've put you in terrible danger this year, Harry. I'm sorry. You saw your parents that night, didn't you? They've reappeared. No spell can reawaken the dead, Harry. I trust you know that. Dark and difficult times lie ahead. And sometimes we have to choose to do what's right and what is easy. But remember this. You have friends here. You're not alone. Witness for the defense. Albus Percival, Wilfric, Brian, Dumbledore. I mustn't have missed it, but by happy mistake, I arrived at the ministry 3 hours early. Charges? Pardon me, Minister, but as it happens, we can. I don't think anyone would believe the Dementors were there by coincidence, Minister. Well, that would be disturbing indeed, Madam Under Secretary, which is why I'm sure the Ministry will be mounting a full-scale inquiry into why the 2 Dementors were so very far from Azkaban and why they mounted an attack without authorization. Of course, there is someone who might be behind the attack. Cornelius, I implore you to see reason. The evidence that the Dark Lord has returned is incontrovertible. In the matter of Harry Potter, the law clearly states that magic may be used before muggles in life-threatening situations. Clearly, it's become practice to hold a full criminal trial to deal with a simple matter of underage magic. Professor McGonagall, may I ask you to escort Sybil back inside? You have the right to dismiss my teachers, but you do not, however, have the authority to banish them from the grounds. That power remains with the headmaster. Don't you all have studying to do? Most nobly of you, Harry, to shield me, but as it's been pointed out, the parchment clearly says Dumbledore's army, not Potter's. I instructed Harry to form this organization, and I alone am responsible for its activities. I thought we might hit this little snag. You seem to be under the delusion of what I'm going to... What was the phrase? Come quietly. Well, I can tell you this. I have no intention of going to Azkaban. It was foolish of you to come here tonight, Tom. The Auras are on their way. Best of evenings to you all. First off, let me introduce the newest member of our staff, Horace Slughorn. Now, Professor Slughorn, I'm happy to say, has agreed to resume his old post as Potions Master. Meanwhile, the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts will be taken by Professor Snape. Now, as you know, each and every one of you was searched upon your arrival here tonight, and you have the right to know why. Once there was a young man who, like you, sat in this very hall, walked this castle's corridors, stepped under its roof. He seemed to all the world a student like any other. His name? Tom Riddle. Today, of course, he's known all over the world by another name. Which is why, as I stand looking out upon you all tonight, I'm reminded of a sobering fact. Every day, every hour, this very minute perhaps, dark forces attempt to penetrate this castle's walls. But in the end, their greatest weapon is you. There's something to think about. Now off to bed, pip pip. How'd you do, Tom? No, I'm a professor. Well, perhaps they're right. Hogwarts is not a place for mad people. Hogwarts is a school. School of magic. You can do things, can't you, Tom? Things other children can't. Well, I'm like you, Tom. I'm different. I think there's something in your wardrobe trying to get out, Tom. Thievery is not tolerated at Hogwarts, Tom. At Hogwarts, you'll be taught not only how to use magic, but how to control it. Do you understand me? Draco, years ago, I knew a boy who made all the wrong choices. Please let me help you. Good evening, Bellatrix. I think introductions are in order, don't you? Severus. Please. The prophecy did not refer to a woman. It spoke of a boy born at the end of July. What would you give me in exchange, Severus? Lily and James put their faith in the wrong person, Severus. Rather like you. The boy survives. The Dark Lord will return. And when he does, the boy will be in terrible danger. He has her eyes. If you truly love her. How long? Don't ignore me, Severus. We all both know that Lord Voldemort has ordered the Malfoy boy to murder me. But should he fail, I presume the Dark Lord will turn to you. You must be the one to kill me, Severus. It is the only way. Only then will the Dark Lord trust you completely. But there'll come a time when Harry Potter must be told something. But you must wait until Voldemort is at his most vulnerable. On the night Lord Voldemort went to Godric's Hollow to kill Harry, and Lily Potter cast herself between them, the curse rebounded. And when that happened, a part of Voldemort's soul latched itself onto the only living thing it could find, Harry himself. There's a reason Harry can speak with snakes. There's a reason he can look into Lord Voldemort's mind. A part of Voldemort lives inside him. Don't tell me now that you've grown to care for the boy. Lily, after all this time. Yes, he must die, and Voldemort himself must do it. That is essential. You can't help. Harry, you wonderful boy, you brave, brave man. Let us walk. Something beyond either of our help. A part of Voldemort is sent here to die. Well, I was going to ask you that. Where would you say that we are? King's Cross, is that right? This is, as they say, your party. I suspect that you realize that you and Voldemort had been connected by something other than fate since that night in Godric's Hollow all those years ago. Did. It was just destroyed many moments ago by none other than Voldemort himself. You were the Horcrux he never meant to make, Harry. Oh, that's up to you. Oh yes, we're in King's Cross, you say? I think if you so desire, you'd be able to board a train. Odd. True. Oh yes. Help will always be given at Hogwarts, Harry, to those who ask for it. I'd always pride myself on my ability to turn a phrase. Words that, in my not-so-humble opinion, are the most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of both inflicting injury and remedying it. But I will, in this case, amend my original statement to this. Help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who deserve it. Do not pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living, and above all those who live without love. Actually, now I think about it, it doesn't seem curious at all. I'll be going now, Harry. Well, of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real? What the? What is this? Why would you do that? Who are you? Oh, 8 movies. I'd like to introduce our new teacher for Defense Against the Dark Arts, Professor Gandalf. Well, that's a little harsh. Classes haven't even started yet. Why do you have to come crashing in here like a natural disaster? Oh ho ho! It's Marmalade Day! Hey! Now be careful up there. Oof. And keep your paws off my hat! And your Aunt Lucy's recipe is even better than the Explorer's. Oh, I wouldn't worry. We've been talking about that trip for 40 years. I thought I told you to be careful. Give me back my hat. No buts. It's about time I've got a bit of respect around here. Embarrassing. But tasty. Oh no, I need that. A wise bear always keeps a marmalade sandwich in his hat in case of emergency. Get to the shelter! Our last rainy season. Where the rivers flow with marmalade and the streets paved with bread. I skimmed it. Reading makes me sleepy, but any city that could come up with this is all right by me. It's a cub. Lucy! Why not? What's he like? That's a good sign.